all dead. They're all dead. I have no friends anymore. It's okay, but they're all dead. Hey guys, so I have another story time for you today. I completely had forgotten about this. I don't know how I remembered it. I don't know. That's super weird. Do you guys get that where it's like you completely forget about something and then you're doing the dishes or whatever and then you're like, oh wait, that happened too. Because that happens to me all the time. So this is what happened with that. And that's how I remembered about this. Anyway, this happened a long time ago when I was like in the 3rd or 4th grade. It's pretty small. And okay, how old would I have been? Like 8? I feel like saying 8. But I feel like saying 8 for almost every story. I don't know. Anyway, so I was around that age and I was really good friends with this girl and I had gone to her house all the time. So of course when you're like that age, your mom like hangs out with their mom and they're like, oh cool, we get along too, I'll leave my kid here, like, you know, to just like make sure everything's cool. So our families had become friends and this girl's mom, she had actually gotten pregnant and she was having a baby shower. And I cannot believe how many people were at that baby shower. It was a huge party. And so like we walked in and of course there's like all the moms and all the people at the baby shower, always how adults do. They like have this one room where they're all just talking about stuff that kids don't care about. I'm just like, please let me go with my friends, please. So I was like allowed to go with my friends. And I was like, see you later suckers, haha, you guys have to sit around and talk. So I went with my friends and we would like hang out in their backyard and stuff, but today was so cool. That day was awesome because there was a huge bouncy house and they had rented it just so that the kids could like be distracted while they were having a baby shower. And it was awesome. It's like the best possible distraction you could get for kids because it's not just like a distraction, it's super cool and entertaining. So I got really excited and me and my friend, we went into the backyard and we went into the bouncy house and like there were a lot of people, okay? There were a lot of people and a lot of kids, and so people, they would like kind of go in the bouncy house for a little bit and then they'd be like, oh, I am so tired. So then they would leave and like go upstairs or like whatever. So kids would kind of like cycle through, I guess is the best way to say it, because they would go in shifts, I guess. Like you would get tired and you'd be like, oh, I gotta leave. And then you would go to the other room and then like another kid would come in because he was like not tired anymore. You know, does this make sense? I hope it makes sense. Anyway, so a few hours later I was in the bouncy house and you know that thing that's kind of annoying when you're in a bouncy house and somebody is jumping and they're like messing up with your jump and then they like make you move and you're just like, that's not what I was trying to do, man. I was trying to like bounce and you just completely like negated my bounce. It just kind of sucks. So more kids eventually came into the bouncy house and it was starting to get kind of annoying because you're trying to bounce in your own space and everyone's like taking up your space and like your bounces are not working as effectively as they should. You're not going as high as you should and it was kind of getting annoying. So I was like, this is kind of getting annoying. And then I don't know what happened, but I guess even more kids came in and I was like, yeah, this is too crowded. I'm done with this. This is terrible. Also, there were no adults in the backyard. Everyone was in the room where the baby shower was happening, so there was no supervision. So people were jumping as hard as they could and as high as they could, and I was just like, you guys, I gotta get out of this because I want some space. If I'm gonna bounce, I'll just like wait it out, you know, it's fine. It's fine, I'll wait it out, it's all good. So I'm still in the bouncy house at this point, and some kids, they decide like, hey, you know what's fun is like to throw someone against the bouncy house thing and then they would kind of like make it slant a little bit and I was like, oh, okay, no, I'm out of here. I am not dealing with this. They're getting like way too crazy in here. So they would like jump towards the edge. You know how it kind of slants? They would do that and they'd be like, oh, this is so funny, and I'd be like, I gotta go. I'm not dealing with this. Normally when you have a kid's bouncy house and kids do that, the parents will be like, stop doing that. But there were no parents in the backyard. They were all in that room for the baby shower. No one was paying attention. Nobody cared. They were like focused on their own thing and you know, that's fine. So I got out and then people kept doing the thing where they would like throw other kids against the side of it, or they would just kind of like make it slant more. And I was like, this thing, it's not gonna work. They're gonna like die or something. They're just gonna like make the whole house like flip on its side, because there were so many kids in there and they were all starting to do this thing where they would just like push to the side and make the castle slant. And I was like, so then the moment of truth comes, and I'm just like watching with fascination of like this thing happening where the kids keep making the house slant to the side, and I'm just like, is it gonna fall or not? And I mean, I can't tell them anything. I'm the same age as them, and it's not like if I told them like, hey, stop, like they would stop. There were too many kids doing that. So, so then what happens is they just keep doing it, you know? It goes from slanting a little bit and swaying to like halfway kind of bending, and then bending back, and then like bending again. And I was like just waiting. I was like, oh my gosh, what happens if this thing collapses? Like, are they gonna break it? What's gonna happen? So I was just kind of in shock in that moment. So I was just waiting, watching, seeing what was gonna happen. And then it happened. It happened, you guys. They pushed the house so hard that the whole thing just fell in on itself. And I was like, oh my god, they're all dead. They're all dead. I have no friends anymore. It's okay, but they're all dead. They're all dead. That was my immediate thought process, because I thought that like with all those kids in there in a collapsed bouncy house that they would just like suffocate and die. I was a very cheery little child, I guess, and I just didn't really know what to do for a little bit. I was just so like, oh my god, everyone I know is dead, and it was like I was having a moment. Anyway, so a few seconds later, after thinking that all the kids in my grade had just like perished because they all were dumb enough to make themselves die from like collapsing a little bouncy house in. Because there's no way that like 40 kids or however many kids that were in that bouncy house can all get out of the like little slit where they have you like exit and enter the bouncy house. Like in that amount of time, wouldn't you suffocate? I don't know. I don't know. So then after a few seconds of that whole panic of like everyone I know is dead thing, I went inside. And I immediately went to the mom of my friend, the lady who was having the baby shower, and I was like, hey, the bouncy house collapsed. I don't know how to tell you this, but it did. And I don't know what I was expecting from like an 8-month pregnant person, you know? It's not like she could fix things very quickly, but I guess since she was like the most important person there, I guess I wanted to let her know. So that's what I did. And she was just like, oh yeah, they'll fix it. And I don't know who she was referring to. Was she referring to like the dads? Was she referring to the kids that they'll like figure it out? I don't know. But I just remember I was like, oh my gosh, I was so glad that I had left that situation. I was not dealing with it. I was like, haha, yeah, I'm a survivor. So then I think a few adults, they went outside to like see if everything was okay. And then they had to like re-pump the thing with air and like help all these kids and like make sure they were okay and make sure nobody suffocated and died from this bouncy house event. And just like now they had to keep an eye on the kids because they were like, oh, these dumb children, like nearly killing themselves with a bouncy house. And I think that was pretty much it. Like they just had to supervise them and make sure everything was okay. Thankfully nobody got hurt. I don't know how, because that's a lot of children on a collapsed bouncy house. But it seemed like everything was okay. Nobody died, nobody got hurt. So that whole shock thing of like, oh my god, everyone I know is dead, I didn't need that apparently. But that was just like my first thought. I don't know what reminded me of this story because I had completely forgotten about this until a few days ago. So I don't know what like triggered me to remember it, but I'm glad that I did because it's one of the craziest stories that I have of my childhood. And yeah, I thought I would share that with you. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this story time. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Snapchat, Instagram, Periscope, all that good stuff. I also have a Patreon. If you guys are interested, it would really mean the world to me if you guys supported me. I would appreciate that so, so much. and the links for that will also be down below, and I think I'll put a card right here. And I'll see you guys later. Bye! Hey guys, so today I'm doing more of a follow me around vlog type video, and it's just like changing things up, and I have missed doing these, so if you guys like